There we are. We are here. We are live. There she is. Checking the sounds and making sure that we're making sounds and doing the right things here. I have notes now on paper. So this way I'm not trying to look off screen. Well, I still will because I'll look down, but I won't be looking off screen off to the right or uh, I guess on this it would be on the left. I get whatever. Um, so I won't be trying to look at a screen that's over there because I don't really need to enunciate what shapes and lines are because I'm pretty sure everyone has gone to kindergarten that's watching this. So to be fair, um, if you don't know your shapes, uh, we can have a conversation about that afterwards. But First, there's an important announcement involving uh, Theory Thursday and this topic of logo design. Um, I know we live in the current year, and uh, subject matter regarding gender is a very sensitive issue. I do get that. I do completely understand and sympathize with gender uh, assignment versus gender. Well, how you feel as a gender. I get it. Um, I completely sympathize with my LGBTQT, what have you, community that comes with us here. So, to be completely honest, though, language involving logo design is very gendered. There are things that are masculine, there are things that are feminine. That doesn't mean that only men will like this or only women will like this. It's not a definitive uh, role or um, a definitive. If you want men, if you want cis hetero men to come to your site or your project, that you have to do this or that or the other thing. It's a matter of uh, things give off a psychological masculine feel or a psychological feminine feel, and these are uh, uh, valid marketing tools. It's literally used in marketing on the daily basis. It's the reason why they call it the pink tax, is because pink is a color that keys to feminine people. Um, that's regardless of how you identify yourself on the gender spectrum. That's not has nothing to do with either or. It just has to do with what gives off what psychological cue to the potential customer, the lead. Um, and these are things to keep in mind when considering who you're trying to speak your message to. Um, Now, with that out of the way, um, we're going to talk about shapes, and shapes is pretty analogous to color, and is used in combination with color. Um, so last week's Theory Thursday uh, is tapped into this week's Theory Thursday. So there's that. If you watch this one, you're going to want to watch the last week's one. If you watched last week's one, I hope you uh, were compelled enough to come and watch this one. Uh, just like last week's Theory Thursday, I'm seriously considering bringing uh, coaching on market logo design uh, as something I might potentially do in the future. If you are interested in that, you're going to have to let me know. I'm not going to go through the trouble of building it and hoping they will come. I wanna have like some sort of indicator that uh, me spending the time on that as opposed to other projects is going to be worthwhile. Uh, so on to shapes. Um, the shape of your design, just like color, really makes or breaks your logo. Um, just like with colors, where you have primary colors, secondary colors, tertiary colors, you have primary shapes. The primary shapes are circles, squares, and triangles. Each of these confers a very specific message. Um, Circles uh, give a sense of reliability, of um, togetherness, inclusion, whereas squares is more of a safety, um, durability type of shape. These contrast so much, and basically they key into psychological triggers regarding masculinity, femininity. Circles are definitely a more feminine um, uh, shape, as opposed to more masculine shape of square. Anything with a right angle is just that's just the way it works. Our brains are hardwired this way. I don't know why. Maybe I can get my hands on somebody who can really explain why certain shapes key into certain traits on the masculinity femininity spectrum. But until that happens, we're just going to have to go with it. That this is what our brains do. Triangles, on the other hand, show motion. Uh, and when I say this, it really depends on where the triangle is pointing. Um, if you have a triangle as your logo, uh, it really shows that you have a direction. If if your point is on the the y-axis, if it's pointing up, it's drawing the looker's attention upward. It signifies growth, signifies um, moving up. When you look at stock graphs and you see the stock thing going up, that's what that really means. When you look at a triangle and it's facing to the right, uh, in English speaking countries, or Romance language speaking countries, we read from right to left. And with those logos, if you are keyed to people who are speaking Eurocentric languages, for the most part, I believe Native American also speaks that way. Pointing to the right means moving forward. If you are talking about traditional Japanese, that's a completely different story. Hebrew, it's a completely different story. Arabic, it's a completely different story. But for a large bulk of a consumer base that you're looking at, pointing right is always going to mean moving forward. Now, I understand that I'm going this way in my hand, and it's looking like I guess, no, really, whatever. Anyway, so there's that. Pointing down draws uh, the viewer's attention downward, and pointing to the left in a left to right reading culture points back, and that could be uh, like a business that focuses on 90s nostalgia, having the uh, having the triangle pointing on the x-axis to the left would really be like throwback. Um, Now, secondary to this would be lines. Now, lines come in two major categories here: vertical, horizontal. The diagonal lines really depends on the perception of the logo in and of itself, um, whether or not you like it. If you have a triangle and your triangle is pointed down, and you have lines like this, people are going to look at that corner as the top. Your lines are vertical. If you're pointed up and your lines point it up, and your lines come out of one of the other sides. They're just going to turn it, and it's going to feel horizontal to them. It's again another one of those things that the human brain does. It likes things to be straight linear. It doesn't like things being sideways, like diagonal. Um, uh, Vertical lines uh, are engaging. They're powerful. They draw the viewer's eyes down to potentially your brand name. Whereas horizontal lines are more of a tranquility thing. Think of like looking out at the ocean, and you see the horizon laying flat, and that's generally the gist that people get when they look at a line or a group of lines. They just getting it calms them, lowers their blood pressure and stuff like that. And the tertiary shape, and this is really not just a shape. This is every shape. It's organic shapes. When I talk about organic shapes, I'm talking about like the logo for Tropicana, which is a leaf. Um, Gatorade, lightning bolt, World Wildlife Federation, a panda bear, anything that is a thing. And really, it's a matter of, does that thing match your company's message, something about your brand. Obviously, World Wildlife Federation hit gold with a panda because they, were saving pandas. um, the natural aspect of the leaf, the even the color combination of green with the leaf makes you think, well, Tropicana, natural orange juice. Um, uh, Gatorade with their lightning bolt, lightning bolt makes you think power. If you also look at the lightning bolt, it's very triangular in design, and that's also on purpose. That's um, you know, it's signifying power, motion, yellow, excitement, and all of these things are very genius marketing moves in order to signify what the brand message is and execute it in a way that a viewer will connect with emotionally. And that's literally the point. The intellectual connection to a brand, that'll happen no matter what, as long as you brand yourself properly. If you explain in very short, simple sentences what your brand is and what you do, then people are intellectually going to get it. But you'll catch more people from the emotional input, the things that happen subconsciously in their psyche. And you really need to think about this before you decide on a logo. Um, I said at the beginning, this pairs with the color talk. This is uh, absolutely true. You really want to focus on, if you decide on a shape, what color you're going to pair with it. It's like wine pairing with food. And anybody who cooks, this is the same deal with plating food. You don't plate uh, nonsensically. All of these marketing things that I'm talking about are things that come up in plating. Um, I have a dark sauce. I'm going to put it in a circle. I have I have nachos. What shape are the nachos? 99% of the time, triangles. There's a reason why. If you buy Doritos, they're triangles. There's a reason why. It's because of how it hits psychologically. It's not that it's a tortilla and you cut it into triangles because it's a circle, because Doritos don't come in like a circular triangle. It's a straight triangle cut out of a flat tortilla. Why? Why that shape? It's very important, but we have to understand why. Um, Going back to color. Um, so after that little sidetrack, uh, if you're if you're using cool colors, blues, greens, purples, you want to uh, move more towards round shapes, circles. Uh, these pair very well. Um, Not only is the circle uh, reliability just like blue is, which I may or may not have mentioned last week. That may have been one of the things I held back, but there you go. There's a Christmas present for you guys. Merry Christmas. Or Hanukkah if you're Jewish, or Festivus if you're Festivus, or the rest of us. Reds pair very well with squares, and yellows with triangles. Remember when I mentioned Gatorade? How everything is very triangular shaped. There are no right angles in the lightning bolt that Gatorade uses, and their lightning bolt is yellow. There's a reason why. It pairs very well. It reads as excitement. It reads as power. And that's an important part of the message. Um, uh, a perfect example of reds with the notion of safety and a square. Wells Fargo. It's a banking institution. It wants to instill the idea of safety. It uses a red square. Um, and then the words Wells Fargo inside of the red square. A lot of security companies utilize the red square as part of their logo because of the fact that that's literally it's red, so it's powerful. Square, safety. It pairs very well for a security business. Um, YouTube also uses red and a square, though it's rounded. Um, it still confers somewhat of the same idea. It's rounded because it's the shape like a television screen, but the idea behind YouTube is that you are safe to share your videos, and your videos will actually transfer their message out into the world. Now, whether or not you have viewership, that's a whole other ball of wax, but that's generally what they're going with YouTube's symbolism of their um, logo. Now, as far as blue and circles are concerned, the biggest and the most well known um, blue circle logo would be NASA. And well, how does NASA's blue circle? Well, blue means dependability, and circles mean reliability. And that's the message that NASA wants to convey to the public, that this is a serious institution that is seeking to explore space for the benefit of mankind. Trust us. um, so, as you can see, when you decide on the shape or you decide on the color combinations of your logo, you have to consider the other. If you're decided on your shape, you have to consider your color. If you decided on the color, you have to consider what shape you want to go with. Um, um, these combinations are always going to enhance the psychological significance of your logo. And the more enhanced your psychological significance is, the better your message is going to get across, the better it's going to be received. Uh, on the other hand, the worse it is, the more you're just going to get stepped right over. Um, um, a couple of other things to note before I end this. Negative space. You have to be mindful of negative space. You don't want to put an accidental penis in the middle of your logo. I mean, maybe you do, but um, if that's not what you're about, you have to make sure that you're examining your logo in every way, shape, or form. Is a perfect example of negative space logoing? FedEx.
Mhm.
The arrow that's between the X and the E in the X part. Well, yeah, the arrow in the X of FedEx. Um, uh, there are good uses of negative space where you can use typography to create negative space, like FedEx did, or you could use shapes to create other shapes. This none of this stuff is off the board or unheard of. Um, the other thing, if you are considering, well, I don't want to just do a square or a circle or a triangle or a this. I want to convey multiple messages at once. I want to use multiple shapes. The thing you really need to consider there is it cluttered? Because the minute it starts looking cluttered is the minute you start is right when you start losing the attention of your intended targets. I can't stress this enough. I know I said it yesterday. I know I said it on last Thursday with color. Simplicity is best. And a clear and perfect exercise that you can do with your logo to ensure that it is as simple and still conveys the message is be very brutal with it and cut as much as you can out of it until you can cut no more, and it will begin to lose its message. That is the logo 9 times out of 10. The one is where you should start. Um, uh, you can have all sorts of flowers and leaves and this, that, and the other thing, but is it really more powerful than just one single leaf? Imagine if Tropicana had an orchard for their logo, like a whole freaking orchard. Is it really more powerful than the one leaf? Not really. Just because you're adding more stuff doesn't make you more unique. Doesn't make your logo better. And that's something that you really need to keep in mind. Simple, elegant designs, um, simple shapes, because you're not looking to engage in someone's intellect with your logo. You're looking to engage with the reptilian, emotive, subconscious brain, because that's where your hook needs to go. Once you hook that, you have that person who will then hook other people for you. Um, that's the power of good logoing. That's what you want uh, as a marketing tool. Um, I think that's it. It's been what, like 20 some odd minutes. And again, if you want me to go deeper into this stuff, give much better examples and stuff like that, you want to have some one on one time talking about logos and stuff like that, uh, I am willing to offer coaching. Uh, I will leave the disclaimer that I am actually learning as I'm uh, sharing. So I don't have every answer, but I do have the will and desire to go and search for the answers I don't have. But that also requires people to ask questions so I can find out what I don't know that I don't know. So again, if this stuff interests you, if you're interested in upgrading your logo to be more of a psychological hook to increase your market by subconscious methods, uh, I would suggest you hit me up, let me know you're interested, and I will see about putting some coaching courses together for you guys. that will come at a cost because I'm actually going to have to work at that stuff. So of course, network members, I'll be discounting heavily, and if you suggest anybody else, maybe I'll give it to you for free and charge that person full price. How's that sound? Though I don't have a price yet because I don't really know how much work I'm putting into it until I know if anybody's really interested. I would guess probably be like a 10-week, 1 hour a week course. 150 for network members, 300 for everybody else. How's that sound? That sounds like a plan. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, we'll leave it at that. All right, yeah, everybody stay safe. And go get yours. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.